Weather was perfect last night for sleeping. It was like 50 degrees out, perfect temperature in here. I find that I sleep so much better when it's cold like that. Ended up staying at the local Walmart last night. I don't usually do that, but it was really close to one of my friend's houses and I was hanging out with him pretty late, so I just came over here and it worked out. I have stayed here quite a few times before and haven't really had any issues, although it is surprising because there's always a police officer up patrolling the front of the lot by the entrance of the Walmart, but they never really give anyone any trouble. On a colder morning like this, the first thing I like to do is start up the Element and just get the heat blasting to deal with any condensation. There really isn't any condensation this morning. I guess it was pretty dry last night or something, but on the windows it's totally fine. But I'm just going to blast the heat for a little while anyways, just to make sure that it's nice and dry in here. Breakfast is pretty simple today. Walmart mornings can be pretty great because you have access to the Walmart. There's a restroom in there, it'll probably be pretty clean. And then also if I need to do any grocery shopping like I do this morning, I can just get it done right now. Got to pick up some bread, some paper towels, saves me a trip to the grocery store later today. Works the same way as always. Post your questions below and then I'll answer them as part of an upcoming Tuesday vlog. First one this week, UFWEF. Nate, when you have time to relax, how do you watch TV? Or what is it that you do if you have a few hours to just relax? I don't really watch a whole lot of TV. Occasionally I'll stream like an episode or two of Netflix just on my phone here before going to bed, but that's pretty rare. I don't really do that too often. Sometimes I'll read. I usually read books also on my phone, so I'll read on there occasionally or just play guitar. And then I also, if I have time to kill, if I'm at like a Starbucks or something like that and I have a full power supply, I can game a little bit. I do play a little bit of Overwatch and a few other video games on my computer. I know I've mentioned that before. So if I have some time to kill and I'm at Starbucks, I will definitely do that as well if I'm caught up on all my other work. Terry12L, when you are in New Orleans, do you stay with your girlfriend or do you continue to live in the Element? A little bit of both. Sometimes I'll spend nights at Aunt Teen's place. Other times she'll actually spend nights with me in the Element, and then sometimes I'll just spend nights alone in the Element as well, like I did last night. I'll definitely change it up a little bit. You know, obviously I like to spend some nights with her as well at her place, and you know, we'll try to hang out, but definitely also enjoy my time being able to stay in the Element and kind of in my own home and in my own bed. Dave Anderson, you are from Massachusetts. Why not go the easy route and just be a Pats fan? I do definitely like the Patriots. Like my dad and most of my family are big Patriots fans. I care about them, and you know, obviously, so I'm rooting for the Patriots, especially this year. The Browns, it doesn't look like the Browns are going to win a game this year. I'm kind of hoping that they don't. I don't know why. I guess at this point I've just lost all hope, but so I have to root for a different team, and the Patriots are definitely the team that I'm rooting for the sake of my family and just because, you know, obviously I'm from Massachusetts. David, question, would you consider using a Goal Zero all-in-one instead of a deep cycle battery, charge controller, and inverter? That's a good question. You know, I've definitely thought about using the Goal Zero stuff. The only thing is it's very expensive. I guess that if I was like sponsored by Goal Zero and they just, you know, gave me one or something like that, of course I would definitely use it. It seems like a really good product, but I'm not going to go out of my way to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a Goal Zero setup when I already have a pretty decent setup here. Pretty decent. It's not the best, but it works out. MFS Clicks? MF Slicks for the next Q&A. What do you listen to on your long drives? Music, for the most part. I've never really gotten into podcasts. It's something that I kind of want to get into at some point, but I pretty much find myself listening to music. I've got a lot of music on my phone as it is. I don't have Spotify or Pandora or anything like that, but I just have a lot of like albums and stuff like that on my phone. So I'll go through and listen to all those, and I have enough music to keep me entertained for a very long time, stuff that I probably haven't even listened to on there in a long time, so it works out. I like to listen to full albums all the way through, so I don't know, I find that it works out pretty well. No Fate 247, what car would you live in if you couldn't choose a Honda Element? So if I couldn't have the Element at all, and I'm guessing that under this circumstance, I can choose whatever I want and there's no budgetary concerns. So I'm going to probably go with like a Nissan NV200. I really like the space in there. I like the size. I like the fact that, it gets really good gas mileage and they're relatively reliable, especially if I get a newer one. So I think that that's probably the choice for an immediate upgrade to the Honda Element. I know I've also talked about cargo vans and going with something a little bit bigger as well in the case that Antine possibly joins me on the road. But for the most part, I'm a big fan of the NV200s. I think that's probably my first choice. I don't really want to get rid of the Element, though. I really do like it. The next question actually kind of relates to that. Brittany Young, how many miles will you allow on the Element before you decide to get a new vehicle? Right now, I've got 151,000 miles on the Element, and I've heard of them going to 200, 250, 300,000 miles, so I'm not terribly concerned about the mileage at this point. That being said, though, I am more than likely going to be getting rid of it at some point in the next year or so that I can upgrade to something a little bit bigger. It's tough for me to do that because I think the Element is pretty popular. I think that it's getting more and more popular. I think that it's a really valuable utilitarian vehicle that Honda doesn't make anymore, obviously. So it will definitely be a painful day when I have to get rid of this thing. But until then, I'm going to enjoy it as much as I can. And the last question I want to address concerns the stealthiness of my new solar panel. A lot of folks have asked about how they think that it's going to affect the stealthiness of the Element and how that's going to work out. And the short answer to that is I don't really think it's going to affect stealthiness very much. I know I mentioned it in the video that there's really no way to hide a 100-watt solar panel on the roof of an SUV. I don't really have a lot of ground clearance, so when you're walking by, like, you can see that. But even when I had the old panel taped down to the surface of the roof, it was blatantly obvious that there was a solar panel on there. I mean, if you're walking from the front of the Element, you could see the thing almost immediately, and you would notice it. So I don't really think that it was any more hidden when it was taped to the roof than where it is now, and I never really had any issues when it was taped to the roof, so I don't really think I'm going to have any issues at this point. At least that's my logic for now. It's also pretty difficult to see the new solar panel because it is the flexible. It's really tiny and it kind of just blends in nicely with the metal bars there. So from a distance, it just looks like it's like a work rack or something like that. You can't really even tell what it is until you get close. Now, that being said, if a cop is trying to make a decision on whether or not they want to give me the knock, if there's someone in there or someone not in there, is it possible that the solar panel is going to give me away? Absolutely. But I think that I'm probably going to be given away first by some of the other things that I have, like the fact that all my windows are blacked out, the fact that there might be some condensation in the windows, the fact that I have surfboards and I'm in New Orleans, or the fact that I have South Dakota license plates and I'm probably not in South Dakota based on where I'm traveling. So I don't know. I don't think that the solar panel is the biggest concern, and I'm not really worried about it. We'll see how it goes, though. So that was pretty much the morning routine. Even when I do stay in like a residential neighborhood, though, I still find myself going over to like a grocery store parking lot or the Planet Fitness parking lot and just hanging out there for a little while, making breakfast, and then running in, maybe using the restroom, picking up a few things at the grocery store, and then kind of getting on with my day. That's pretty typical for me. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to y'all in the next video.